It was the 21st of October, in the year 441. The Deciati Republic, long sworn to the imperial throne, was contemplating a vote for independence. It was known that with that vote, a war would come that would last an age, but nonetheless the people of Deciati considered it. Long tired of the increased taxes under Emperor Maximilian III and his shadowy counterpart, Empress Tiana I, they ruled together with an iron fist and a strong hand, and knew very well the details of this prophecy. It was said that a child would be born that would aid in the resistance of Deciati against the empire, and that this child would plant the seeds for the ruin of the empire itself. Where this child would be born, however, that was the mystery. Outside the imperial palace in the imperial city, Empress Tiana was arriving to the song of a flock of crows gathered on the walls of the palace. She passed through the checkpoints through the interior garden to the great bathhouse where Emperor Maximilian was enjoying himself. She announced herself. "Husband." The emperor turned around in the bath. "Ah, my dear wife, what news am I to hear? Is General Flower ready to make his advance towards Deciati?" The empress turned her head side to side. "No, my lord. That is not why I have come." "The news is great. The doctors have assured me I am with child." The emperor seemed hapless. "Is this not great, my lord? It's all we ever wanted." The empress stated. "No, of course, this is fantastic news. I am just shocked. I hadn't thought it possible for you anymore," the emperor responded. The empress smiled. "And yet, it has become. We have surely received a blessing from the Great One." "I believe so as well," the empress said, getting out of the bath and pulling a towel around himself. "Then what troubles you so?" "Don't deny it. I can see it," Tiana remarks. "You know the prophecy as well as I. When Deciati rebels, the ruin of all the empire will come with the birth of a child," the emperor points out. Tiana scoffs. "Our child is not a ruin. Our child is a blessing." Maximilian walks to her and holds her hands. "Perhaps. But only one can know," he remarks assuredly. "No, not her. She doesn't have her wits about her," Tiana protests. Maximilian sighs. It is the only way to be sure. Maximilian went to the temple district in the imperial city. He went into one of the smaller temples. In the center of the grand ritual room behind the altar sat a woman, an old crone clad in a dark robe. She had her palms on the altar. When Maximilian went into the room, her gaze rose to meet him. "Why have you come, child?" she asked him. "Don't you know?" he retorted. "So long you have waited to come see me, my son. My Maximilian, I know why you come," the crone replied. "Then you have an answer?" Maximilian asked desperately. "Yes, your greatest fear is not to be realized. Your child is not the one who is destined to bring about the ruin of the empire. However, there is one coming into the world right now who will be." "Who? Where?" Maximilian demands. "I love you, my Maximilian. I wouldn't want you to do anything terrible," the crone said with a tear in her eye. "Where?" Maximilian repeated. The crone sighs. "Mimit. He will be born in Mimit." Meanwhile, in Mimit, a child is chasing his sister through the barn of his family farm. His pregnant mother calls to him. "Petrus, stop chasing your sister and go help your father with the horses." "Yes, mother," the child begrudgingly answers. Petrus goes over to the stall where his father is tending to the horses. "Hello there, my son," Petrus' father said, smiling whilst he was petting a horse on its head. "Good day, father?" Petrus asked. "Yes, it is a good day," Petrus' father replied, looking around the stable. "We are lucky. Do you know that, Petrus?" He added, "I guess," Petrus said, a bit bewildered at what his father meant. "Well, we won't always be this lucky, you know. I am sick, you know this, and it's getting worse. Now, it's important that you listen to your mother, But I'm not going to be around forever, and you need to take a larger role in leading the family now that she is pregnant. Do you think you can do that, Petrus?" Petrus looked troubled and didn't answer. His father patted and kissed him on his head. "I know you can." The next day, Petrus's father sent him to clean the floor of the village temple. The temple priest Jarlo oversaw his work. "Well done, Petrus. Here's some silver for your trouble," Jarlo said, when Petrus was finished. "My father says I shouldn't take payment for holy work." Petrus replied, "It is a gift. I know your family is going through some hard times. Anything I can do to help, just ask me, Petrus." Jarlo insisted, smiling. Petrus took the coin. "Well, my mother has pains and is worried for the baby's health. Could you pray that it be a smooth birth?" Jarlo put his hand on Petrus' shoulder, still smiling warmly. "Of course I can." General Flower was standing in his tent, hunched over studying a map of the surrounding lands around Desiate. Commander Brex entered the tent. General Flower did not raise his gaze. He remained fixated on the map as he answered. "Yes? What is it, Commander Brex?" "New orders from the capital. General, we are to send a detachment to Mimit." "How can they expect us to do that? War with Desiate could begin any moment now," the general explained, frustrated. "It is an order from the Emperor himself. Mimit is to be razed to the ground and all inhabitants killed." Brex replied, "I can spare 400 warriors at the most. They may have 20 horned beasts and 10 jawed beasts to ride. You will be in command, Commander Brex. Make sure the Emperor's wishes are carried out thoroughly," General Flower commanded. Commander Brex went outside to the wooden cages and took a look at the riding beasts. They were dinosaurs, most ancient and ferocious beasts. The horned beasts the general was referring to were Triceratops, and the jawed beasts were Velociraptors. They were soon to be mounted by the most brave of Imperial knights. Brex addressed his men. "We must pass through the Togsha forest to reach Mimit. Anyone who does not fear sprites may come, although there must only be 400 of you in total. The rest stay here with General Flower." Brex and his men reached the outskirts of the Togsha forest 2 days later and were greeted by the Empress Tiana and her guard. "You will need my help to pass through the forest unharmed, Commander Brex." Tiana. "Empress, you should ride back to the capital. We are riding towards war." Brex. "War? Mimit's raising can hardly be called a war. Besides, me helping you is an order directly from the Emperor himself." Tiana. "Not to be rude, Empress, but how can you help us?" Brex. "The sprites of Togsha Forest are well impressed with my magic. They are loyal to me. If you do not bring me with you, you might not be allowed to pass through the forest alive." Tiana explained. Brex sighed slightly. "Very well." And everybody continued on towards the forest.